Greetings, YouTube. I had a dream the other day that I thought might have some application to the RPG community here on YouTube. Now, I have 3 different levels of dreams. I have a full immersion dream, one where I have no control over what's going on and I don't know I'm dreaming. I'm completely immersed in it. Your pretty much standard dream that most people have. Then I have a less common where I am aware I'm dreaming, but I'm watching what's going on. It's kind of like being on a holodeck. I know it's a dream, and I don't have control of what's going on, and occasionally I can get stuck, but I know I'm in a dream, and I'm watching what's going on around me. And then I have full-blown lucid dreams where I can do pretty much anything I want to, which are the rarest, but the most fun. It's being able to control your own holodeck. It's really quite cool. But the dream I had the other day was of the second variety, where I knew I was in a dream, but I was watching things. So the dream opens on a boy in a wheelchair in an attic room. He's looking out the window. It's a very sparse room, the boy, his chair, a bed, and a nightstand. There's no electrical lights, no plugs, it's very sparse. And from the size and shape of the room, and from the view out the window, you know you're at the 3rd floor of a mansion. Big space. The door opens and a young woman walks in. She has a conversation with the boy. She explains that she's here, she has a couple of assistants with her, but the assistants don't speak English, so she'll be talking to them privately, and she'll just be interfacing with the boy himself. You get the feeling that the boy's been neglected, that he's been left alone up here for quite some time, and the facilities are less than modern. The wheelchair he's sitting in looks like something that came right out of the 1910 or 1915. The next day she returns, and the boy is very glad to see her, and he comments about the fact that he doesn't get many visitors, and she said, "Yes, I imagine you don't." So she tells him that she's going to take him out into the garden, which he's very excited about. He said, "It's been a while since I've been in the garden." So with the help of the 2 men, they get the boy in his wheelchair into the garden, where there's a lot of very sophisticated equipment set up in a gazebo. And the woman pushes the boy into the gazebo with all the equipment in the garden. He's really quite enjoying the fact that he's outside. But the garden is, or was at one time, a very proper British English type of garden, very organized and trimmed and proper and things like that. But it's vastly overgrown. It's very much been neglected. And she places a piece of paper in a stand so it holds the paper vertically. And it's a metal stand. And she asks the boy to look at the piece of paper and think about it very intently, and to imagine the piece of paper is warm. And it's more than just warm. Imagine the piece of paper is hot. And the boy has no reason not to accommodate what the woman's asking. She's been very pleasant to him. Does so. And as he does this, the paper begins to actually turn brown, and then it goes black, and then it bursts into flames. And he is delighted, as are the 2 male assistants, who apparently, or at least the boy is being convinced, don't speak English. Over the next couple of weeks, the woman who teaches him how to do this at will, and also gets him to move small metal spheres. Not just a little bit, which is what he can do at first, but with enough accuracy and with enough reliability to actually hit a target at quite a distance, at pistol range. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, we've got some kind of like XMen thing going on here. This is he was shunned by his family because he's some kind of mutant freak and they didn't want to deal with him, or they were afraid of him. From some past episode that maybe he himself does not remember, which would tie right into the whole X-Men thing, lots of psychological drama. And then the dream steps forward, and you see the woman putting the wheelchair into the trunk or the back of a station wagon. It's sideways, and she got a can jammed in there, and she closes the trunk, and she speaks to one of the other males in English, and explains that he says, well, as long as it's the wheelchair is set up like this in the vehicle, she said, I think that situations are neutralized. I said, and we shouldn't have any difficulty transporting things. And he's like, oh, fine, cool, great. So they get into another vehicle, which has all the rest of their equipment, and she gets into the front of her car. And when she does so, she's quite shocked to find the boy sitting in the passenger seat. Because you see, the boy's a ghost, and the wheelchair is his focus. And this group here has found a way to weaponize the spirits of the dead. And they had chosen this boy because he was the most benign ghost they could find. A completely and utterly harmless individual who spent all of his time in an attic window looking down at the world around him. But enough of a spirit that he scared everyone away, so no one wanted to live in the house because there was a ghost in the attic. A reliable one, and so that's how he was found. So I thought this might be a useful idea for someone that was running a modern paranormal game. Somebody's figured out how to weaponize the spirits of the dead. And I imagine the next step would not just to be use the spirits, but to actually bring them in. A very Voodoo concept of being ridden or taking the spirit into yourself and using the powers of the spirit under your own control. Maybe it's a 50-50 split. Maybe the spirit's involved in this. Maybe the spirit is a complete slave. Maybe the spirit takes you over. Yeah, I know I'm touching on the whole concepts that have been dabbled in by the World of Darkness. Please forgive me. I know that most people know that I'm not a big fan of the World of Darkness universe. The only World of Darkness version I ever liked was Monty Cook's. But I thought this was a good idea, and I haven't used it for anything. I just had the dream a couple of days ago. But I thought other people might want to hear about it, and maybe you can find some use for it, or at least can spark an idea in your head, and maybe you can do something with it. So I'd be interested in hearing if anyone has any ideas that have come off of what I've presented to you today in my paranormal dream.